Cruising down the back roads, windows roll low, with the music blasting, bass and that flow. Remembering the bonfire, laughing with my crew, jamming on the corner, soaking up the view. Every beat's a memory, every song's a spark, feeling so alive, yeah, out here in the dark. Cranking up the radio, rolling through life, loving making memories, music cranks high. Do you feel that freedom? Can you hear the call? Those back road memories calling to us all. The dreams are still burning, laughter is the same, sound still echo loud, can you hear that name? Life was so electric, every day the song, hearts on the highway, we to do no wrong. Chasing every sunset, world spin around, living for the moment, then we're going down. I can feel that fire still burning in my soul, when nobody's watching, I bring my rock and roll. Those back road memories calling to us all. Calling to us all. Down the back road.
What's up, guys? What's up? We are in here on a Friday night, and I was going to do a 9 o'clock show, but I'm going to go meet my wife for taco date about that time tonight, so we're going to be pulling out of here before an hour's up, so you guys know ahead of time. But we're going to talk about sound deadener. It's one of those terms that's just thrown away on, I don't know, man. It's sound treatment, or sonic treatment, or acoustic treatment, acoustic control, acoustic treatment. And man, look, let me tell you, the first people to figure out how the surface and the space change the sound, I don't even know, man. I guarantee you it goes back way, way back. Because, like, an example to that, if you've ever been outside during the wintertime, of course you have, you'll notice that sound travels further in the snow in the winter than it does during the summer. What? Yeah. You also know, of course, canyons and stuff where there's lots of buildings and big hard objects around you create echoes. All these things people figured out before they ever even figured out how to make fire. You know what I'm saying? So we've been noticing this for years. And of course, we've been designing around it. The early amphitheaters, before there was any electricity or any power or any manufacturing, stuff like that, they figured out that if they built a wall, a big wall behind the performer, and then had it curved this way and had it curved this way, that from all the way across this huge stadium, you could hear the person up there on the stage whispering all the way at the other end of the stadium. It was like, and that was an amphitheater. And that's the reason for that. And they did that just so that you could hear the performance because there was no microphone, there was no PA system. You wanted to be able to hear the lines and the singing and all that. And a person could sing on stage without any kind of public address system and could be heard and enjoyed, 300 feet away by someone in the back row. And that was all due to understanding acoustics. We've been doing this forever. Um, so, what does all this have to do with sound deadener? Well, it literally has everything to do with sound deadener or sound treatment for a car. So, if you let's first look at the home environment. Okay. When it comes to sound quality, the thing that we do not want in a space that we're going to reproduce music. Okay, now there's two different things here. One is producing music or creating. The other is reproducing or recreating. So if you're creating music, the space that you're in may not be good for sound quality. It may be just an echoey chamber. It may be a stairwell in a building or a bathroom or a shower, a long hallway. These places create different sound. And when you're creating music or you're creating a sound effect, you may want that color and that echo and all those things in there to give it a certain sound. But when you're recreating or playing recorded music, you're playing something that someone else has already finished and you're just reproducing it. In that situation, you want pretty much a dead room. You want the room to sound like there is no walls, no ceiling, no floor, just open space. You don't want any reflections or any echoes coming off the walls. So the things that you don't want is hard surfaces anywhere. This is why, good example of this, this is why Elvis covered his ceiling with carpet, the shag carpet in his jungle room. It's because they recorded in there and he wanted the echoes and all that stuff from the ceiling to be knocked out. He wanted a more dead space to record. He didn't want a lot of echo in that space. And that worked pretty well. I mean, it's kind of weird having a carpeted ceiling, but it makes a big difference. And then, of course, you have acoustic tiles. You guys are familiar with, you've probably heard that term before, the acoustic tiles, and you never really thought about what acoustic tile means. Well, in the office space, you've got, people all over this big, huge room. They're separated by little dividers that go up, above their head, but there's still this big, huge, wide open space. Can you imagine how much echoing and how loud that would get? With the acoustic tiles up there, which is these tiles that go in the grid, they're all designed to trap sound and absorb it and not reflect it. And that is a sound treatment. It is a generic, quick, easy, get it done sound treatment, right? And that is an example of sound treatment, right? For a space, like an office space. In warehouses, they'll do insulation. They spray it on the metal surfaces on the inside. The whole point is to create non-reflective surfaces. Now, in car audio, it's the same exact thing, but there's two different groups of people in car audio that sound treat a space for two different reasons and two different things. And your guys that want to get real loud and your guys that want to make it sound amazing. Some of the sound treatment that they do is the same. It follows the same path on both directions. They want to stop vibrations. They want to stop rattles. They want to make the vehicle not make any noise itself, right? And that's the general point where they're both the same. In that time and that type of an environment, both for SPL and for SQ, they will do mass loading. So they'll make the panel itself heavier and have more mass across it so that it won't vibrate. Like on a drum, for example, you hit the top of the drum, the whole drum vibrates and makes a noise. If you take a piece of, some kind of rubber mat and lay it on top of the drum head, it makes it not make any noise. It literally stops all that vibration. That's exactly what you're doing in a car on metal panels, is you're stopping that panel from vibrating, or you're changing the frequency that it will vibrate to a much lower frequency so that it doesn't make any noise that's irritating you. However, that's not the only sound treatment. This is the one that everyone's familiar with. This is what the go-to brain is going to. You stick on this heavy stuff with foil on the back and rubber under there, the butyl rubber foil backed stuff to the metal panels. That's what everyone thinks of as sound deadening. That's only one of many, many, many layers of potential sound deadening or sound treatment to a car. There's all kinds of other stuff. Let's see who all's popped up in the chat. Hang on a second here. How is everybody doing this fine evening? Audio Connection said, "What's up? What's up?" Steve's Custom Shop. Evening. Stu said, "I'm here." Michael Smith, what's up? Office Space, great movie. Oh yeah. That's my stapler. I've been recording and producing music for almost 20 years. Have a studio built in my house. I use bass traps. Yep. In the center corner of the loud room to stop echoes and reverb. Yep. All sound treatment, man. These are the things the average person doesn't even consider, Stu said, "I'm one of the SQ guys. Touching base with the oldest child, but I'm here. What's up, man? Touching base on call with the oldest child. I got you. You're at work. Yes, ish. You're at a honeydew. CLD. Let's see here. Loving the Trunk Thunder 5K V2. You damn right, man. Love some Trunk Thunder Lithium. Once you go lithium, you just don't want to do anything else, man. That's the truth. I mean, it really is. It's like, holy crap, it took me however long to go from making a bunch of bad decisions to making the one right decision. It's like game changing, completely game changing. And you never go back. You can never go back. It's just so bad. Back is so bad. So, back to the story though. So the thing is that even though both SQ guys and SPL guys have that part in common up to a certain point, what's interesting is after that point, they literally oppose each other. SPL guys want to create as many hard, smooth, flat surfaces as they can. They literally want the exact opposite. They want no material that absorbs sound, no material that absorbs reflections, no material that moves or vibrates. They want it to be a pressure chamber, as hard and cold and flat and solid as possible. Every single surface that sound is going to come in contact with, because they want to create the most sound pressure and the most intenseness that they can do. They basically want to create the most incorrect equalization of sound as they possibly can, with a heavy emphasis, extreme emphasis on bass. Which is why making an SQL vehicle is difficult, because it literally is like building a vehicle that's both the slowest it can be and the fastest it can be at the same time. Or the tallest building and the shortest building at the same time. They're literally the opposites of each other in a lot of ways. But I get somewhere, there's a happy medium in there. You just have to figure out what the most important things are that you need to do for both, and then put emphasis on those, and then not really put any emphasis on the other stuff. For example, some guys will get rid of their seats, and they'll replace the seats. They'll take them out completely and put a block of wood in there to sit on, or they'll pull the regular seats out and put like racing style seats in there, which have the much thinner construction, much harder, much thinner padding. And they also have lots of holes open up to the back so that the subwoofers and the sound doesn't get trapped and absorbed as much. A lot of times they'll replace the headliner with solid wood or solid hard material. There'll be no headliner at all up there. Or pull a carpet, put down just a layer of, plastic. I forget what that stuff's called, but it's that real thick plastic sound deadener stuff that's gotten popular here recently. Somebody will put it in the comments. I know I can't think of the name of it, but some of you guys know what I'm talking about. They'll put that stuff down just to create a hard, super flat, super hard, rigid surface. Because the less material, the less softness there is, the more the sound gets reflected, and it doesn't get trapped. It gets bounced back and forth and creates those waves of, bass destruction that everyone's wanting to have. So it's kind of funny how that works. So they literally work against each other. The Green-Eyed Monster said, "It's good to see you looking better. Love your channel." Thank you. I just, last night, I had to, I still have the damn thing. Had to wear this horse's shit. It's a sleep study, a home sleep study kit. It's really crazy because it's completely disposable. I don't understand that. I'm supposed to throw it away. It's like a whole lot of kit, man. It just gets thrown in the trash. Hooks up to an app on your phone. You run it, and then they'd say, "Okay, we got the stuff," and you just throw it in the trash can. It's like, it seems so wasteful. But no, it's not epoxy. Kenneth Wayne said epoxy. No, not epoxy. He said, "I won't never go back." Yeah. But that thing made it really hard for me to sleep. So I was laying there. I got this thing on my finger that's squeezing on the end of my finger. I mean, it's tight. And I got a thing that replaced my watch that's squeezing on my wrist, and it's got a big, huge disc on the top. So it's like causing all sorts of weird problems. Then another wire goes up to my chest where I had a thing stuck to my chest up here. And it's, you got this already over here, this implant, and it's still sore and still, so I have all this crap that's pushing on me and squeezing on me and touching me in different places. And then they wanted me to go to sleep kind of on command. So I lay there all bundled up in all these wires and crap for about 3 hours before I finally drifted off to sleep. And then I slept like crap. It's for sleep apnea, and I can get away without a CPAP machine, but man, I had one in the past and I slept so good with it. I mean, I slept so much better with it. And I also have a problem with congestive heart failure. So my heart doesn't move blood fast enough. So I get fluid buildup in my lungs. And when I'm laying down, not actively keeping my lungs cleared, being awake and whatnot, it will build up in my lungs and wake me up with this lot of fluid in there, and I'm sitting there trying to cough all this crap out. Well, the CPAP machine actually helps in that regard because it pressurizes that space in my lungs. It's creating a constant pressure inside my lungs, and that helps to push the water and the fluid from getting in there and keeps the lungs inflated. It's a big help in that department. It's kind of an accidental help, but it's really, really good at doing that. Let's see here. Good day, lads. Good day, Dubby. And Stu, yeah. John, happy you're getting healthier. Love your channel. Thank you, John. I remember Vibraflex. Yeah, that's what it is. Y'all remember to smash that like button. Yeah, baby. Reach down there and grab the mouse, grab the finger, and hit that little thumbs up, man, because the like button helps me out. So, yes, Vibraflex. That's what I was trying to think of. Thank you. Vibraflex comes in these really thick sheets, and it has an adhesive, but I think the adhesive is more of a. It's not even that important. It helps, but the idea is you get this stuff extremely hot, like melty hot, and then you heat up the surface you're going to put it on. You get that cherry hot, and then you stick this melty hot stuff to this cherry hot metal, and it soaks in there and grabs hold of every little bump and crack and crevice, and it makes what would be a normal little sheet of metal into, like a 3/8 inch thick chunk of plastic with metal on the side of it. It's really, really intense. And if you want to see an example of that, DJ Rusticle's little Jeep that I do the demo in the intro video, you'll see me and EXO both getting the demo in that Jeep with DJ Rusticles, and really super windy, clothes flying around. It'll undress you. I mean, it'll just literally take your clothes off in the seat. Anyway, in that thing, he's got 3/4 of a ton of Vibraflex in that vehicle. 3/4 of a ton. So there's 1,500 pounds of sound treatment, just that type of sound treatment in that vehicle. That vehicle's crazy. That Jeep is nuts, guys. It's really nuts. There's a lot of stuff out there that's really loud, but he does demos at like a 165. He give me a 165 decibel demo at like 26 hertz. There ain't nothing that's a really rare demo machine to be able to do that kind of shit. And it will take your clothes off, man. It will pull you. The person will get stripped. Your hat's gone instantly. If you got your hat in your hand, or unless you got a hold of it, it's gone, instantly gone. And yeah, it'll hurt you. That thing's crazy, and it hurts you with low bass, which is extremely impressive. A lot of vehicles are super loud, but they're loud in like 60, 70 hertz. This thing's doing that shit in the 20s, which is exactly the kind of demo I like to get and like to give. So there you go. Let's see here. Logan Davis said, hey, I just got subs myself into earlier today. The amp shut off mid-song, and I didn't have bass for 10 minutes. Sir, that is the bane of every bass head's existence. I then had it cut back after another 2 to 6 minutes, and should my system be fine? About 10 minutes, then it cut back. Yeah, I mean, it ain't broken. You just you've just got one of or many of problems that cause amplifiers to heat up. Since you just got the system put in, or you just put it in, I want to go out on a limb and make a couple of guesses. Um, Usually, the typical things that cause that problem are the amplifier is mounted in a location where it's not getting any air circulation around it, so it's overheating. That's one. It's wired really into the dirt on the ohm load, like you got it wired to a half ohm or something like that. Probably not the case in your scenario unless you have somebody with a lot of experience putting it in for you. You wouldn't have wired it that way on purpose, but they might have. That's probably not your issue though. It's probably going to be a lack of air circulation and probably going to be poor grounds. Um, and poor grounds will cause heat quicker than anything. If you guys have been in a house or an old house or a mobile home, and you plug the electric heater in the wintertime, and after a little while, it throws the breaker. We've seen this. Guys, I know you've seen it. Damn electric heater will throw the breaker. You had to go out there and reset it. So you plug it into a different plug-in and it works fine. I'm going to tell you, you take the panel off of that breaker box, that breaker panel, pull it off. You see all the bare ground wires running up there? I don't suggest that you do this, not knowing what you're doing, but if you did, put a screwdriver on those grounds, I guarantee you there'll be all kinds of loose. They're all kind of loose. And if that neutral wire going up there to that circuit isn't tight, which it won't be, those wires get loose. Those connections, especially if that breaker box is outside the house, it's a guaranteed to have it happen. Over time, even copper will corrode. And as that corrosion happens, part of that material that used to be a wire, part of that material, this is the wire, used to be a wire, now turns into green oxide, right? And that, as it does, it takes away from some of the diameter of the wire. It gets smaller. And whenever it was installed, it was tightened up to the point to where it was good and snug. But now there's 20 years later, and lots of winters, there's a lot less material than there used to be. So now that connection is loose. And it happens a lot on those. And if you go through there and take a screwdriver where your hand is nice and insulated, always put one hand in your pocket, put your left hand in your pocket so you're not doing anything stupid with it. Take your right hand, hold an insulated screwdriver, and carefully go through and tighten one screw at a time. You'll find it's a whole bunch of them in that breaker box release. And once you do that, guess what? It'll stop tripping it. It's because that loose connection, that weak connection generates heat, and that heat builds up and trips that breaker. There are bimetal thermal single throw switches. In other words, there's a piece of metal in there that is made out of two different types of metal. So it's got one metal on one side of it and one metal on the other, and they're together. And whenever that gets hot, one metal expands faster than the other one and causes the thing to curl like this. When it cools off, it goes down. Well, that's a bimetal switch. Then you have a post over here that the circuit connects to. So as soon as it starts getting hot, it disconnects. As it cools back down, it straightens out and reconnects. But in a breaker box, those are different. It trips them a different way. So once it trips those, it stays tripped until you reset it. Needless to say, though, heat is what causes that. So check your ground connections, check your airflow around your amplifier. Those are the two that I would throw out there most likely to be the problem. W said I'd check why it shut off. Yeah. I'm just saying if it was planned and it just shut off and it's a new system, that's probably what it is. Probably a crappy ground somewhere. It's just real common. I checked myself, but both of them look like they're still moving just fine when I watched them, had to tell. So they have a cage-like cover. Are we talking about subwoofers here? Sure, I'm on 2 to 6 minutes. Both of them are moving. Subs. You need to go to a shop, um, and whenever you ask them to check it out, explain to you what's going on when they do figure it out, so you'll understand. Because I don't have visual on that. I don't have eyes on it. Um, Audio Connection said 165 dB will get you. Yeah, 165 decibels, especially below 30 hertz. That's a wicked good demo, really. Um, Sue said it sounds unnecessary. Yeah, until you're the one getting that demo. Um, he made EXO tap out twice. And EXO is hard to tap. And he made him tap out under 30 hertz. You realize that's pretty intense. It gets sketch. Got to hear it through it though. Yeah, got to hear it though, Stu. Yeah, man. You got to experience it. That's the thing about that kind of build. You don't listen to it. You don't hear it. You take it for a ride. You experience it. It's a full body experience, man. Um, yeah, it'll break stuff. So Audio Connection said I got a demo from Steve Duncan's van. Duncan D's nuts. Yeah. That thing was literally pulling the air out of my lungs. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it gets to. If you depending on the frequency, man. See, everybody has a frequency that affects them in a strong way or another. Some of the higher frequencies are much easier to torture a person with. Even like 40 hertz is still sonic. It's still a audible frequency, and depending on your person, one frequency may affect them their physiology more than another. And someone who's doing a demo may notice this. If they're really good, they'll have a little bit of a variance going on, and they'll notice when certain notes really affect the person over there. And then they'll that next song they'll play the right notes to really get you. So if you're ever getting a demo and someone's really trying to get you, they're really trying to punish you, the first song is the experiment. The second song is going to be targeted. It's going to be the come in and stomp it, Kenneth said running 2K RMS to 15-inch solo wired to one ohm, trunked under lithium 5K V2, 29 hertz, loves those. Oh yeah, that sounds like a nice setup, man. Logan Davis said, yeah, it's under my car seat. Yep, called that. And it was done by pros. Okay. And yeah, Dubby's correct. Not all professionals are good though. Yeah, some are professional money removers. Others are professional audio installers, and then most of them are professional at both of those things. But there are some really bad professionals out there. There's some really bad ones, and they don't even they give the whole industry a bad name. So Logan said, I want to make my system best I can. I have 2 JLW3s, nice, 4 ohm, and I want to make the bass crawl as most I can, but think I need to set it off sync from the stock speakers. We're having an English deficit here. Let's see here. I want to make the bass crawl as much as most I can, but I think I need to set it off sync from the stock speakers. I'm not sure Somebody else is in here that catches him and figures out what he's asking for, jump in there and help him. Living loud with Andy. It's Friday already. What's up, CAE? And chat. What's up, Andy? Been covering your Friday spot for you this summer as best I can until you come back. Tonight's topic is sound treatment mainly. So, it's always everything, but we started out with that. We got to ask about it the last show, and I said I was going to pull it up and talk about it some on this one. Glad to see you in the chat. Kenneth Wayne, on the thing, heating up is my amp after 30 or more minutes of hard banging, but it's not mounted right, and there's no fan. That's the next step. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, though, man, that's fair. 30 minutes of hard banging and a poor mounting spot, with no fan, that's kind of expected to be able to shut it down at that point. But I will say this, my 8K and my two 4Ks, my 8K and my two 160.4s, beating the brakes off of them for a solid day, like 10 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon, pretty much constant demos. I never shut any of those amps off. And I'll assure you, I was giving them a monstrous plate full of beans the whole time. That said, some people do. And I don't know. I have had amplifiers that I put in my vehicle that 5 minutes and they shut off. I had mids and highs amp that just kept turning off. But I figured out ultimately that I'm pretty sure there was a short that was happening in one of the channels. And that was causing that amplifier to shut off. Now, the funny thing was that same exact wiring did not cause a different amplifier to shut off. It just caused that one to shut off. And it was the same problem listed on both of them. Really odd behavior, but there's usually a problem if your amplifier is shutting down from getting hot and shutting down. It's usually a sign that there is a weakness somewhere. So be sure to look for that. And oftentimes it's either the air circulation around the gear, or poor wiring, or a loose connection somewhere. Loose connections generate a ton of heat in multiple ways. So that's the first thing I look for, is loose connections and an amplifier that's buried under stuff. Those are the two primary ones. And also, if you've got some kind of sketchy wire somewhere that's making a little bit of a connection to a ground, or two wires are touching each other, and the speaker may still play. It may still work. It may still hear it. It may not do it all the time, but when it does it, it's going to really heat things up. There's usually a reason for that. That's what I'm saying. Stu W11. Andy said, Stu W. Glad to see you made it back from Mouseland. I just try to make the customers happy. Yeah, no doubt, man. What's up, Joseph? Joseph Pitcock. Let's see here. Nice to have you in the show tonight. I'm wanting to run dual 15-inch Orion XTR subs, 750 watts RMS. That's their mid-level, that's the mid-level, I believe. XTRs, good subs, they'll work fine. And I'm looking at the JP8 amp to run it. I see a lot of people. JP8 would run it. I would tell you what I know for sure. What I would suggest, though, for your XTR subs, I'd recommend the Orion XTR 2500.1. It don't matter what subs you're looking to run. That 2500.1 Orion XTR 2500.1 amplifier is so underrated. That thing is an absolute monster of an amplifier, and you can get it. I guarantee you're going to get it at a better price than you will the JP8. Um, it's a very underrated, really, really powerful amplifier, and you're already running the XTR subs. That'd be what I would say to go with. But can't go wrong. JP8 should be a good unit too. I've already ran the amplifier. I've ran several of them. I've never blown one. I always wound up selling them and doing something else after a while, but they've always been really solid, very dependable, super get it done amplifiers. XTR 2500.1. Yeah. I think Derek Williston was able to get like, I don't even remember, like 5,000 or 6,000 watts out of a 2,500 watt amp. They're just stupid, man. They're great amps. But you do need to provide them with power. They need that that power input to them. So you're going to need to run some good batteries. You already know who I recommend. Jay Shipe said, "I need some growling bass too." Man, it sounds fun, but I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Okay, Logan Davis. So I have bass, but I don't feel it further than 5 feet. I want to tune it right for the bass to feel it, and you want more. What you're saying is you need a lot more bass. That's just hang around and show up for these shows, and you'll learn all the things you need to learn to get more. But more bass comes from larger enclosure, more cone area, and more power. Those are the things that are going to make more bass. In that order, by the way. Larger enclosure with the same subwoofers and power you currently have will make a lot bigger improvement than you think. Then more cone area is also going to increase it. And then, of course, more power is going to increase it. But you start out with the enclosure. That's my recommendation, is those three things. And you have to give them in increments. Like a larger enclosure is also going to mean that sometimes you have to turn the power down some, because you're going to be playing, the speakers will be a lot looser and they're going to be like bottoming out and stuff. There's so much to learn about this. It's not as simple. But that's the trifecta that'll get more bass. Yep. And he literally just said the thing. That's exactly what I just said right there, Logan. In fact, I'd say box being one of the biggest factors. Exactly. I'm glad we're on the same team, Dubby. Stu's Custom Shop. Logan, that's probably going to be the vehicle it's in. That is a big one too. Yes, up to the vehicle. That space you're trying to work in definitely will affect it. Yep. Sounds like a prefab to me, Stu. Yep. I guarantee you, they took him to the cleaner too. And of course, he's got JL. I think he said he had JL gear in there. So they say, here, this is nice and expensive. Don't get me wrong. Those W3s will get stupid nasty and sound amazing, but you need to have the right setup going on. Just buying a name brand doesn't guarantee that you're going to get the performance that's associated with that name brand. The performance is going to come to matching the equipment up to the correct enclosure, installing it properly, giving it enough power, all those things, all the correct enclosure size and shape and port tuning and all that stuff, as well as good quality equipment with consistent power so that it can feed and provide you with what it wants. All these things are part of where that bass comes in, not just one of them. He had a small version of the dual 12 Q-bomb. That explains that. That's going to be a high. That box is tuned at like 42 or 44 hertz or some crazy stuff. I had that box in my closet in there. My cats, I had it out in the living room for a while. I have a dual 10 version of it in my living room right now. The cats use it for a cat house. I had the dual 12 version in there, and they were using that as a a, a 2-tier cat hotel. That's what it's good for right there, man. It's good for a cat hotel. Um, you run the Slapz right. Wouldn't the Slapz 3K do better? 15 Solo X? Um, hmm. For a single 15 Solo X, Slapz 3K? Probably. And good price on that. Let me look and see here. I have to think about that. The 15-inch Solo X. Yeah, that's a $200 amplifier. That's a really good price on that amplifier. It's less than $200. Um, I would probably go with the Shox 5K though, and then just turn it down a little bit because that'll allow you to grow into 2 of those eventually. Plus, you won't be pushing the amplifier as hard. It'll be coasting a lot, and I'll be able to play that just fine. So that's my advice. Yeah, the 3K would work. The Shock 5K 0.1 would be the better choice, though, because it allows you room to grow, and the amplifier is not pushing as hard as it can. Andy Dufresne. That is named Dufresne. It was 1922 when Andy Dufresne showed up in the prison yard. He had a big ass stick and a big ass attitude. Andy said, proper tuning of your crossover on amp could clean up that sound. Yep, my advice is to set it as low as possible and try different songs and adjust. I think it might help clean up the sync. Maybe that's what it's. Yeah, I get what you're saying. So yeah, he's thinking maybe the bass is a little bit overwhelming, or it ain't quite. Yeah. So in other words, they didn't tune his system. They just threw it in there and took his money and said bye. Yeah, I hate those shops. I can try this living crossover as low as I can. I can try this. Oh, he's talking to Andy. Okay, try this. Yeah. You're on top of it. More bass will fix that. Custom box go a long way, Logan. Yeah. So you're putting the JL woofers in a Cubon box. Yeah, that's what he did, man. It's a shop, dude. They did that shit. Yeah, I know, dude. I know. I'd rather MC put those W3s in a sealed enclosure. It's going to sound better. Any sealed enclosure with a JLW3 is going to sound a whole lot better than a Cubon ported box. Yeah, man, I just hate it. I hate it when people get treated badly by manufacturers, man, and manufacturers and installers. That's horrible. It's horrible. And it makes us all feel bad, makes us all look bad, makes everybody look bad. Let's see here. Let me go back. What's up, Jay? Jay said, I went on yesterday, had to pull a sub back out. Dust cap started rattling. Pain in the ass to get back there to get to back screws. And Pet Gun kept quitting on me. Went too close to the magnets. Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, it literally will just stop. It'll stop working because the magnet pulls the thing at the hammer in. Oh, God. We've all fought that battle. Or you try to put the drill, you're trying to push the drill on the screw, and when it goes getting close to the magnet, it sucks it over to the magnet. You keep missing the screw because the magnet keeps grabbing the drill. Magnets, man. I have to watch that stuff now because this thing here, it's not supposed to be this. It's not supposed to be within 6 inches of a strong magnet. So I gotta really, keep an eye on that now. Let's see here. The Green-Eyed Monster said, anyone have any opinions on using Easy DB Designs or Basaholic Productions, Drew Jones, for their enclosures? I always made my own, but I was curious about these routes. If you're trying to design something that you're not really familiar with, you're trying to go a route that's new. You want to get someone else to design one for you. Down in the information on this video, my buddy Dustin, the mad scientist, is doing box designs, and he can help you out. I'm going to skip down through here real quick. My wife just gave me a heads up that she's going to be done in about 15 minutes. So I'm going to be leaving out here shortly. Let's see. That Drew. There's heaps of other guys out there like Stu in here. Yep. Dubby. Dubstep. Dubby can build stuff. 252 Customs. Kyle Rutherford. I think so. Yeah. 252 is where is the guys that EXO got to help with this cage and his Behemoth build. They're pretty serious about the stuff there. And the Green-Eyed Monster was asking about design, not building, to be clear. Yeah. Look in the information down below. Sub enclosure link down there, and go over to him on his Facebook page. That'll help you. Most places sell designs also. Yeah. What's wrong with JLs in a box tuned to 43? Son, everything is wrong with JLs in a box tuned to 43. What's right about that? That's a crime against humanity. But guys, I'm fixing to jet. So the wife's, when I told you I got a Taco Bell date tonight. I'll be seeing you guys. I may come out and pop in tomorrow sometime and go live tomorrow evening. Because I probably won't go live, or I may not go live Sunday. So I may pop in tomorrow on a live, so y'all heads up. And I may not be live on Sunday, but I'll let you know tomorrow how that's going to go. This weekend's kind of messed up because I got a show Sunday, and sometimes after coming in after a show, I just don't feel like it. Sometimes I do. We'll see. For now, guys, we're going to get the duck out of here, y'all. Y'all have a good one, man.
Subwoofers are getting loud, you can feel the booming sound. Getting ready to go, got it shined up for the show. Hours charging, amps are amping, gonna let the woofers blow. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one goes, and another one goes, and another one bites the dust. We got more at home, another one bites the dust. Wires are glowing and the amps smoking, subs are cherry red. Let me keep jamming, gotta keep the bass slamming, gonna go hard till they're dead. Full power, gotta let it go, 20 hertz in the floating air. Sparks are flying, voice cords are frying, and the smoke is in the air. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one goes, and another one goes, and another one bites the dust. Hey, we got more at home. Another one bites the dust.